So if you guys didn't know, the word prayers has been trending all over X and all over the place. And the reason why it's trending is because in light of the tragic situation that happened in Minneapolis with another person going into a church and causing immense damage, the response around this is always thoughts and prayers, because people of faith are like, man, the only thing that can make sense of tragedies like this are just praying for people, right? Pray for people, pray for comfort, so on and so forth. And some people, like the mayor of the situation, kind of crashed out on this. And then this has now caused a spiral of folks like JD Vance, the vice president, and other people chiming in on this conversation. So let's hear what was initially said, and then I will give you guys my thoughts till the end if you save them. So this is the mayor of Minneapolis.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying.
They were in the middle of a back-to-school mass.
Wow.
At a Catholic school. And so, which makes it even more tragic. 2 little ones passed, and one of them the age of my son. And so this is really,
goodness gracious.
Yeah, this is really bad.
They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance.
Okay, so I think everything else I totally agree with him on, right? Like these are kids, they should be going, be able to go to church, go to school, do all these things. I think the frustrating part is, one, implying that saying prayers is a bad thing.
Come on.
Right?
Tactic of the left.
Or somehow it's not a good thing. 2, what he's implying by not praying. Like, what is he really getting at? Because I'll tell you, all the ways you solve this, he's not going to do.
Uh-oh.
He's not going to do it. There's basic things that we can do to solve these things. He's not going to do any of them.
Yeah.
And I'll get to them. So there's that. And then pretty epic JD Vance clapback. So before you assume to know where I'm going with this, let me play another clip.
Negative reaction to the mayor's statements today. I think it's wrong, frankly, to vilify or attack people of faith. You said thoughts and prayers ring hollow. I think thoughts and prayers are the most solid on days of tragedy for people who live their faith every day.
I mean, rare take from a CNN host.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Right? So to come at this as, we don't need thoughts and prayers. So what do we need?
Yeah.
So what are you getting at?
Yeah.
Because those of us that have been keeping up with these situations, we know where this is going. Right? We know where this is going. Okay, play a little bit more of this.
And I think on a day like today, particularly in a church community, there are probably people praying harder for comfort today than they have ever prayed in their life.
Come on.
And so I think, and I've heard others on the left today go down this line of attack against people of faith, sort of denigrating the idea that they might want to pray today. And so I think his statements were misguided. The thing that struck me today, Abby, truthfully, when I was watching this unfold, was that the 2 little ones that died were 8 and 10.
My son is 10, man. Oh, gosh.
I have 7 and 9. Those are my 2 youngest. They turn 8 and 10 in a few days. And we could probably sit here and argue out all the issues of faith and all the other things that have been raised today, but it strikes me that none of us ever want to know the terror and the absolute empty hole that will never be filled that those parents of the 8 and 10-year-old are going to feel.
Yeah, big shout out to Scott Jennings for this, because I think this is exactly what needed to be said, especially on CNN. JD Vance had a good take. He says, it is shocking to me that so many left-wing politicians attack the idea of prayer in response to a tragedy. Literally, no one thinks prayer is a substitute for action. No one believes that.
Yes.
We all get that faith without works is dead.
It's a complete straw man of a
literally,
faithful position.
yes, absolutely, complete straw man. We pray because our hearts are broken and we believe that God is listening. I think this is one of the best takes Vance has had.
100%.
So when people are like, we need to stop with the thoughts and prayers. Why? Well, because they have an agenda. They want to hijack this.
Yeah.
Right? And we saw this on the right. And so the issue is the way they want to hijack this doesn't actually solve anything.
Yeah.
But the way to actually solve this takes the entire leftist worldview and flips it on his head. I'll give you 2 easy things that solves this.
Okay.
No one's gonna like them.
Okay. No one, not even the right?
Not even the right.
Okay.
Not even the right.
Okay.
But this is actually how you solve them. Now, Crystal and Saga on Breaking Points talked about this dude potentially getting sucked into a cult, right? An online cult that preys on people and they kind of egg each other on who can do the most crazy things. I don't know. We're going to talk about a spiritual component to this in a second. So let's talk about how to solve this.
Okay.
This is the part that was going. You want to know the first way you solve this?
Give me the first step.
You make it where you can involuntarily commit people against their will, even if they're not a danger to themselves or others.
Yo.
You want to look at the spike in mass situations like this. You want to look at the spike in homelessness. You want to look at the spike in addiction. You want to look at the spike in deaths of despair. It was right after Ronald Reagan, who's a Republican, by the way,
Yep.
changed the laws in the 60s, 50s, 60s, when he was governor of California, in an attempt to be more empathetic to people, and said you can no longer commit people against their will if they're not a threat to themselves or others. You want to change this real quick?
Yeah.
Allow people who show the slightest sign of mental instability to be taken against their will
Yeah.
and committed in an institution against their will. You know how many beds we had in mental institutions in the 50s and 60s versus now?
What do we have? Do you know the
It's
number?
like 100 to 1.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not, and I don't know, I don't have the data in front of me, but this is pretty fair.
Yeah, I feel
right?
like you could nudge the definition of a threat to themselves or others.
Yes.
So like it doesn't have to be just someone with mental instability. It could be someone that like mental instability. Oh, and they're posting on social media, like this person was. You have crossed the line far enough because we moved that line a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you can be committed.
As someone who's dealt with family members who have actual mental health issues, I'm not talking about seasonal depression and anxiety. I'm talking like actual, this person has a disorder. It is frustrating as all get out trying to get someone help and they can't commit someone unless they're a threat, a violent threat to themselves or others. So you can't even get them on any sort of medication to see what they would feel like without the voices being there.
Yeah.
So you want an easy fix? That's the fix. Okay. No one wants that.
Yeah.
Not the right, not the left. This was propagated by the right. Nobody wants that. Why? Well, because you want people to have a degree of autonomy. You want people to not be committed against it, right?
Yeah.
But that's the tension there.
I think the tension is that if you from a written paper standpoint, you're like, oh, this makes sense. Like I get why Ronald Reagan passed it back then when you don't see the repercussions of how it actually plays out. You go, well, people need freedom. But then it's like, we should probably talk to the people that are in the mental institutions before we do that and realize like, oh, they're like really far gone. Like if they get out, I don't know how we're gonna get them back in.
Yeah.
You know, and so then that's how it.
Yeah, no. And everyone's saying slippery slope. I know. That's the punchline.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to like the solution.
Yeah. And
do you understand? Yes, it is a slippery slope when you change the laws back.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say.
But
no one likes it.
It already was in place before.
It was in place.
So it's hard to say that it's a slippery slope because we've seen it before.
We've seen it. What we saw America before.
Yeah.
All these deaths, but we saw it before homelessness.
And ever since they changed that law, you got to have 2 incomes to survive.
Well, I don't know if there's a connection there. Maybe there is. So yes, that's
correlation
the
equals
point.
causation.
Here's the other way. Here's the other solution. What the other solution that no one likes? Ban all the guns. Be Australia.
Okay.
You want that other solution? That's what he's getting at. That's why we're going, no, goof. We don't want that one either.
Yes.
Some people on the far left, by the way, people on the far right probably are cool with just bringing it back where you can just commit anybody against their will.
Yeah.
And some people on the far left are like, take all the guns. We need to be like Australia. Both extremes are bad.
Yeah.
Both extremes aren't going to happen.
Yeah.
Right now, we can get into the data and we can say, oh, by the way, the vast majority of folks who are who buy these weapons do it from self-infliction. No one tells you that part.
Yeah.
No one tells you the hundreds of thousands of crimes stopped when good guys protect, good people and neutralize the bad guy. So you can't go that direction either. We're not going, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. We're not going to be Australia. Yeah. There's not going to be a mass buyback. It's not going to happen. You might be in a liberal bubble in a major city. That ain't gonna fly.
We're making moves.
That ain't gonna fly.
We're getting so close.
So that's the other that's what he's getting at. And that's why
Yeah.
we're like, come on, bro. Imagine if every time something like this happened, a politician on the far right said, yo, we just gotta start committing people against their will. And I'm tired of this.
I've been saying this.
I'm tired of this inaction, and we gotta roll the laws back. Ronald Reagan got it wrong. Like, no.
This can't just be X posts and YouTube videos.
Right.
This needs to be.
We got to do something.
We got to commit people against their
Stop
will.
with your thoughts and prayers. Right?
Yeah.
So that's either way you go. Either way you go. You slide into the slippery slope. Because by the way, so you want to talk about slippery slope? What do you think the right has been saying this entire time? Slippery slope.
Yeah.
You start, oh, well, we can't get these assault. Slippery slope. Before you know it, they're going to chip away at the Second Amendment altogether. Why is the Second Amendment there? To protect the First Amendment. Slippery slope.
Slippery slope, baby.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen because there are already red flag laws, because there's already background checks. I'm in a liberal state. You know how long you have to go through to just buy a firearm in California? You don't just walk in and walk out with an AR-15. Both extremes aren't going to work. Both extremes have slippery slopes. That's the point I'm trying to make to you guys. So if you want to hyper jump on this and make this a political issue, both extremes aren't going to work. It's just not. Like, people aren't going to go back to, like, yeah, commit them and do frontal lobotomies like they did on the Kennedy daughter.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it was wilding back then. It was wilding back then, bro, with the type of mental health treatment they were doing. Someone got bipolar, we gonna zap you with some lobotomies.
You just need to lose this part of your brain.
Oh yeah.
I don't like how this is working.
Yes,
for you,
what they
so I'm
did
gonna
to
chop
women
it out.
back then, awful.
Oh my goodness.
Awful, right? And then it's like, oh, you want to be Great Britain? You want to be where all the bad guys got machetes and no one has a firearm?
For real.
You want to get stabbed?
Stabbing? Bro,
Okay.
Stabbing death?
Much worse than a gun death.
Oh my goodness. I've seen a lot of body cam stuff, and the worst stuff is always the knife stuff. It's never the pew pew.
Yeah.
Goodness
So,
gracious.
Ruslan, the practical solution that keeps everything as it is, get these places to grow some nuts and fortify themselves. We literally guard paper money with more force than we do our children. See, that's the part that no one wants either.
Come on.
Because they're going to say, why do we have to have armed security at our elementary school?
The same reason we have it at our banks.
Same reason we got it at our banks.
Hello.
Right?
Yeah.
So miss me with the we need better gun laws. The most liberal cities got the most gun crime.
Yeah. Hello.
Right?
Yeah.
Chicago, LA. Like, what? You see what's going on in New York?
But the state as a whole.
Right? Yeah. No one's talking about the state. We're talking about the cities.
That was Gavin Newsom's.
Right. Yeah. He got cooked.
Yeah.
He got cooked. So that's dumb. And so I'm tired of this, like, let me hyper fixate and try to jack this moment to talk about gun control when gun control hasn't worked.
Oof.
It has not worked. Now, here's the next layer. We want to talk about the next layer that no one wants to talk about? How about this person's identity? Why can't I even say this person's identity without getting shadow banned?
Yeah, you gotta start talking to them.
I got to talk about it in code. We talking about televisions and movies. And, right? Like, I can't even tell you what it is because I'm going to get shadow banned.
That one Shia LaBeouf franchise.
Yeah, that one Shia LaBeouf franchise. I can't even say it right now, but it just ends with formers.
Yeah.
Okay? So like, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about the correlation between the crash out levels of those people in light of their mental health issues and identifying with something that is opposite of reality. We can't talk about that. Can't talk about that. Nope. Can't talk about. Don't talk about that person's identity. They're a skittle, so therefore they're untouchable.
Yeah.
That pink mafia will come after you. Mm-hmm. We could point to all these people and their rights being attacked. Which we're talking about. Like, what is their rights? What rights are we talking about? We're talking about the right to free healthcare, gender affirming hair. They want free healthcare to do irreversible things to their bodies. We're talking about the rights to use restrooms. Right? What rights? So if you think that there's a side, a geno on you, then and you already are detached from reality, because that's what this paradigm is, right? You are detached from reality. You think you were born in the wrong body. But we can't talk about that.
Yeah.
We can't talk about that because, well, goodness gracious, that's politically incorrect. So we could talk about changing our constitution, because that's really where that's going. Changing the constitution. And some folks has gone as far as to say they should. But we can't talk about these folks' identities because it would be politically incorrect and they're a marginalized group and we can't talk about that. How many more situations like this do we need to happen before we could call out the elephant in the room and say, hey, there seems to be a pretty strong correlation with people who identify, and the last several situations like this seem to be all at the hands of people who identify with this and do this against Christians and churches and conservatives.
Oh my goodness.
There might be something there. This is a mental health condition, but we can't talk about it. And so if someone has a mental health condition, there should be restrictions with how they attain these tools.
Yeah.
Those restrictions, like, I don't know how it works, but like I'm assuming if you have a psychotic disorder, there's probably more steps for you to attain one of these tools.
Yeah.
But if you have gender dysphoria, apparently you can legally go and get one of these without any issues.
Yeah. New rule. If you look like a dude, but you
identify with opposite pronouns, you can't have one.
And vice versa. Yeah.
But Ruslan, that's a slippery slope. Uh-huh. Yep.
If you're clearly a dude trying to be a woman, because no one's been confused.
So that's it. It's like, miss me with there's no, I don't want to hear thoughts. Why? Why not? Because that's all we can do in times like these. When we can't, you don't have any, right? Like, yes, I'm all for more good guys will at our schools. Yes and amen. I think that's the most reasonable thing we can do.